Hi everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to Tanya for Life. Let's get back into chapter 19. So let's just go over the last YouTube class was here too with regard to the soul's desire to unite with its source. The inference of the word nature is that the soul's will and desire is not based on reason, knowledge, and intelligence that can be understood, but rather it is beyond the grasp and comprehension of rational intelligence. For the nature is the soul's faculty of chachma. This is the nature of the faculty of chachma. And as discussed in the previous chapter, Chachma is the faculty which transcends comprehension, a faculty wherein the light of the Blessed Ein Sof abides. And as a result, the soul is drawn to its source, the Ein Sof, with a longing beyond comprehension. Thus we see that the nature of the hidden love, its quest, is the longing of the soul to be united with its source. The Alter Rebbe now goes on to explain the designation, hidden love. Now, this is a general principle in the whole realm of holiness. Holiness, kedusha, is only that which derives from chachma, called kodesh ha'elyon, the supernal holiness. The word kodesh refers to chachma, while kedusha refers to any manifestation of holiness, as derived from chachma. As chachma represents nullification of self before Hashem, only those matters that manifest this character of chachma may be said to possess holiness. Those matters in which this characteristic is lacking lack holiness as well. The Alter Rebbe continues speaking of Chachma. Its very existence is nullified in the light of the Blessed Ein Sof, which is clothed in it, and it is not a thing apart, as explained earlier. Therefore, this faculty is called Chachma, which consists of the two words koach ma, the power of humility and abnegation. The word ma literally means what? Denotes immateriality, as one might say when belittling himself. What am I? Thus, holiness refers to anything which, like Chachma, draws down from God and nullifies itself before Hashem. Oh, how important this is. To nullify oneself before Hashem is so important. Amazing. That's how we receive Kedusha. That's how we know we're in the line of Kedusha, when we are humbling ourselves to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as well as doing what things Hashem has told us or not, or told us to do, or told us to refrain from, when we listen to him as well in a nullified way. Wow. This stands in direct contrast to the Klippa and Sitra Achra, from which are derived the souls of the Gentiles, who act only for themselves, saying, give, give, and as Asaph said, feed me, in order to be independent beings and entities separated from God, as mentioned earlier. That Klippa is a separate and distinct entity, far removed from God, in direct contrast to Chachma, whose nature is humility and self-nullification. Therefore, those of the realm of Klippa, are described as dead. For wisdom, Chachma gives life. Hence, that which is the opposite of Chachma lacks life, and it is written, they die without wisdom, i.e., death is a direct result of lack of wisdom. Death is a direct result of lack of wisdom. Ari?
Yeah.
Hi.
Do you have anyone there?
No.
Okay, so just cancel it. What can you do?
Well, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna. I can't find my old class. I'm just gonna go over it.
You want to do it? Okay. No
If
worries.
you want me to cancel, okay.
No, that's all fine. I'm gonna go now. I'm taking the laundry. Do it. I want to finish. I have to finish the laundries. I saw Yaakov today. Back
Where?
in the Russian shop.
Yeah, fair. And it is written, they die without wisdom, i.e., death is a direct result of lack of wisdom. Oh my goodness, can we just focus on this for a bit? Oh. And they die without wisdom is from Yoav. Wow. So death is the direct result of lack of wisdom. Okay, so I really, really see this in and I'm sure hopefully anyone can relate, someone can relate, that really when we're in a state of like death, so to speak, when we're in like mochin kadnut, like in the small-mindedness that we don't see, we're not capable of seeing beyond ourselves and beyond our little world. Sometimes we close ourselves off from seeing Hashem, right? From looking for Hashem. We're not able to see Hashem. Either we do it to ourselves through like what we learned before, the lustfulness for this world, which covers up the desire, the hidden love of Hashem. It literally puts things to cover it, over it. Or Hashem did it on purpose. Like we could be doing everything right. We could be trying to work on ourselves and refine ourselves constantly. And yet Hashem has chosen that it is necessary for us to go through a time where we are in concealment, that we cannot see Hashem, no matter how much we're trying. All the efforts that we do is there for a reason, and it's important to keep doing it. It's important to not judge your state, judge yourself. We'll get out of it stronger than ever. It's really, really important. It's just a state. It'll come and it'll go. But sometimes Hashem does for us what we don't realize is important. So sometimes we need to go through a state of concealment, which is actually the nature of this world. We go through running and returning. So we need to have states of concealment for whatever reasons. And there's always big purpose behind it. Sometimes we're here to pick up different sparks, which we would not come across if we were constantly in a positive frame, in serving Hashem in the best way possible. Sometimes the best way possible is not the obvious way, and it's the way that looks not perfect. Because again, we pick up all the people and all the sparks of humanity in the imperfection. So so when we're in this place where we can't see Hashem, it's concealed, Hashem is concealed from us for whatever reason, then wow, does it feel like death? It can feel really robotic. It can feel very mundane. And for some people in that state, they can't continue to do their avodah. We have to really work on ourselves, that we don't need motivation in order to do our avodah. But if we're in a state of concealment, there is no motivation. How can there be? When we're in a state of concealment, the role that we were on is gone. It's like the spark from below to above, it's like gone. And how amazing that Hashem wants us to still serve him in this state. If he made it possible, then it means this is his will and his desire, and there is a way for us to serve him through it. So, and wow, does it feel like death? That you can have like so many things, like layers and layers that are on top of you and in front of you that you can't see clearly. You can't hear where the other person's coming from. You don't notice really anything outside of yourself. You don't take an interest really much outside of yourself. And the things you're meant to be doing may drop off. Like you may not be able to do it for some reason. And with the desires of the world become more intense and more grabbing at you, you somehow can find yourself doing all these things which you know the way that you're doing it is not helpful, not healthy, and not kedushadik. It's adding to the animal soul's grip, the klippah. How amazing that the Tanya talks about this. And so again, like what we have to always pray for is not our way of seeing things, that Hashem should change the situation, because this is our perspective. This is our the way that we see the situation. The way that we see it, I need this and this. and then I'll be happy. I need this and this, and then I can continue to do my avodah to Hashem. No, that's not the way it goes. What we have to ask for is, Hashem, I'm in this situation. I'm really, really struggling. I wish that I had your chachma. Please give me your chachma and empty my mind, empty my chachma, empty my seichel, empty my perspective. Remember, because humility, koachma, koachma, the humility is part of the kedusha. It's a factor. In order to be enwrapped with kedusha, you have to have humility to Hashem. And you have to have his wisdom. So you're asking for his wisdom, and you come with humility. You say, Hashem, my way of seeing things has gotten me this far, and please, I can't do without you. I need your way of seeing things. Please plant in me your seed of wisdom. And that's what we say at the end of Kavanas, in the morning. We say, V'ten chalki b'toratecha, and give to me my portion of your Torah. Basically, like, plant in me your seed of wisdom, and that's like a meditation. Always, whenever you're doing that, whenever you're reading that part of the prayer, you always think. I always think. I've been taught to think that I'm asking Hashem for his wisdom. It's not my wisdom anymore. I want Hashem's wisdom. And when we're davening, and when we're doing mitzvahs, and when we're learning Torah, we're trying to bring Hashem's way of seeing, Hashem's wisdom. I don't want my wisdom, my way of seeing things. It's tainted. It's from the lower realm of Asiya. I need the higher realms. I need Hashem's way of seeing things so that I can see him. I can do what's needed. And I can, be a vessel for Hashem in this world. I can be a dwelling place for Hashem. I can only be a dwelling place for Hashem with humility and with asking for his wisdom to see life and to go about my difficulties, my struggles with him, and we have to open the door again. We often close the door to Hashem. We have to open the door so that Hashem can come into our problem, because he's never going to take over and fix us, because we're here for our purpose. We're here to refine and dig and improve, and we need to do that with Hashem, but we have to always initiate everything. Hashem is there. My husband was listening to who was at a Farbrengen recently, and Rabbi Pinchas Feldman of Sydney said something so amazing when my husband retold it to us. It was amazing. He said that we in this world, we in this world have to work. We have to do our point, our role that we're given in this world. We have to toil, we have to work within the laws of nature, but we should not limit ourselves in the nature, because we have a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and Hashem doesn't do open miracles anymore. He doesn't split the sea and for us to walk through our troubles. He doesn't do that anymore. What he does is using the tools of nature, which he has given to us, if it's parnasa, if it's shalom bayit, if it's health, everything. Hashem has given us the order and the laws of nature, and we must do what we can within the laws of nature, and do our best, and Hashem will add to it, will make it successful, right? Because nature in itself cannot bring us brachot. The brachot come and the results come from a Kadosh Baruch Hu's heart. But the order of the world, the nature of the world, it can look like this is happening without Hashem, without a Kadosh Baruch Hu. And again, that would be a state of concealedness to think that way. We have to always try to see Hashem. We have to always try to refine our sight and take on the way Hashem sees things, Hashem's chachma, Hashem's wisdom. And so what Rabbi Pinchas Feldman, I love this, is that do what you have to do in the order of nature, but don't limit yourself. And I mean, for me, I am very good at limiting myself. I am excellent at limiting myself in the mind, stopping myself from going forward for all these reasons. There can be, reasons, you know, like very highly intelligent reasons, highly logical reasons, reasons that make sense. It could be reasons that are based on emotions, reasons that don't really make sense, but it feels right. And this is the feeling and justifying feelings. And there are so many reasons, endless reasons why not to do something that you're meant to do. Especially when it comes to avodat Hashem, because that's the whole purpose of this world, is to do avodat Hashem, to make your body and your life a temple to Hashem, for a dwelling place for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So, of course, there'll be so much Yetzer Hara, and Hashem has created a Yetzer Hara for each individual. If I am a person who has so much intellectual capacity, from the big earth element, I have a big water element, I have a big air element, I have a big fire element, then Hashem is going to give me a Yetzer Hara who knows how to talk to me in exactly the right way. Yetzer Hara knows me better than I know myself, because again, we without wisdom are like we're in death. We're like zombies walking around, just doing the same thing, just doing things for just doing the regular thing, the easy way, the way without struggle. Which obviously when we try to avoid struggle, we hit more struggles. So we just have to face things dead on. But how amazing is this that wow. Thank you, Alter Rebbe. So therefore, the nations that receive their life force from Klippa are considered dead. Wow. And again, Klippa is very, very concealed from Kedusha, from Hashem. It's not bad, but it is bad. Like it's badness and evil and mundane, but it's created by HaKadosh Baruch Hu for a purpose. And its purpose, in fulfilling its purpose, it is doing, it is part of this world's, it's still part of Hashem's will. Because without Klippa, and again, someone, Rav once taught me that Klippa is like an orange peel. I mean, we learned it before as well in Tanya earlier, but it's like an orange peel, and inside the orange peel is the orange fruit. That's what we want to eat. We don't eat the fruit with the peel. We peel off the peel and discard it, and then inside is the beautiful fruit which we want. The peel is there for a purpose. It's not there for us to eat, but it is there to protect the fruit inside so that it stays holy, it stays pure, it stays juicy, it stays safe and amazing. So without the klippa, the kedusha would not, and the klippa acts as boundaries, borders, gvulot, protecting the kedusha inside. So without gvulot, without boundaries, without the klippa surrounding kedusha, and for the purpose of us picking it up and discarding the klipot, if it wasn't for that, then the kedusha inside would be desecrated. It would be unholy. And what's coming to my mind right now is we're at the moment we're in Tammuz, and in Tammuz, in the month of Tammuz, in the Beis Hamikdash, we're going to begin the 3 weeks. So the siege of the Beis Hamikdash, the siege of Yerushalayim, all those years ago, and how they had a pig thrown into the Beit HaMikdash, because I recently learned that they were under siege, but they were sending money, a lot of money for a carbon tamid that was given in the morning and in the afternoon. So they would send lots of money so that they could get an animal from the outside to come in after they'd used up all their resources. So the other side realized that they could still get the money and terrorize the people. So they knew that Jews are forbidden to eat pig, and they're an unholy animal for Jews. So what they did was they threw a pig over after they got their money, and from then on, that was the time that we stopped giving a korban tamid in Beis Mikdash. Even during the siege, we were still giving, and this was the time when it stopped. So it's a really, really big deal that they threw the pig over. It's the Beis Mikdash, for the Beis Mikdash, and that later with the Maccabim, earlier with the Maccabim, when they came to reconquer the Beis Mikdash, the Liadi Beis Mikdash. This one was the Greek period. It's so funny. We have the Roman period and the Greek period, that our Beis Mikdash was desecrated by the Romans and the Greeks. Oh, and the Babylonians. Sorry, the Babylonians. The Babylonians and the Greeks. So, and it on the same day.
Suzanne,
Yeah.
is this delicate?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Tia.
I told Vanessa about the situation with your parents, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can talk to her, and then I'll talk to you guys.
Okay. And so what they found in the Beis Hamikdash was they found a raven. I think it was like a blackbird, a magpie or a raven in the Beis Hamikdash, and it is a non-kosher bird. It's a bird of prey, and a bird of prey is a non-kosher bird. So it was really, we've just had so many signs of how, wow, how this klipa can really desecrate kedusha if it's not in its boundaries, if it's not being dealt with in the right way. Then klipa, yes, klipa exists in this world, and if we're not, we have klipa and kedusha. If we're not engaging in both in the right way, then they end up getting mixed, right? And if you remember, we began learning time at the beginning of our Tanya. We learned that the sin of Adam and Chava was that they didn't first take of the fruit of Eitz Chaim. If they first took of the fruit of Eitz Chaim, they would have known how to deal with everything. They would have known how to deal with the tree of knowledge, everything that they got. But they went straight for the tree of knowledge. And what our chachamim, what our sages have told us is the Eitz Chaim is the Kabbalah, is the deep inner secrets, the Chassidus, the deep inner secrets of the Torah. And we need the deep inner secrets of the Torah in order to live life in the right way, in order to see good, see evil, see kedusha, see klipa, and have the right gvulot, the right boundaries, and deal with each in the right way, and to separate them, to unmix the world. Because since the Chet Eitz Hadat, the whole world has been mixed with impure and pure all together. And that's like for me, that's like the imagery of the Beis Hamikdash that had a pig, the Beis Hamikdash that was in ruins, that had a raven, these non-kosher, these unholy, impure animals of klipa being present in the kedusha of the home of our Kadosh Baruch Hu in this world. So wow, like how beyond we really need to respect the klipa in its place and deal with it in the way that Hashem has told us to deal with it, because only then does it protect the kedusha and keep what's holy and pure and undefiled, the klipa surrounding it. So part of what we can think is like our mindset. Our mindset can be sometimes really taken over by klipa, and that's why we can be numb, and that's why we can be our character traits can come up in a negative way, and that's why we can not see or use our senses clearly, and be able to see reality and make the right choices. This is all like the work of klipa. And we have to know that it's not, we're not bad people. Hashem doesn't love us less. We should never, chas v'shalom, never make our relationship with Hashem dependent on anything. It is unconditional. So we should never make our relationship with ourselves dependent on anything. It is unconditional. And we need to try to give that to everybody else as well. We have to develop this more. The more we develop this hidden love for ourselves, the hidden love for Hashem, the more we can access this hidden love for every other Jew as well. Every other person. So so this even all these negative things, these klipot are here created by Hashem for a purpose. It's here so that we can see the good of Hashem, that we can be motivated to push ourselves to delight, be in absolute euphoria when we learning Torah, when we're doing what's right, when we're in the line of Hashem, that we can, when we overcome it, when we get past it, we can appreciate much more what holiness is, what kedusha is, and we can see where we were without it. We can put guards, put steps so that we don't end up down there again, or at least less and less end up in the hands of klipa. Just as the heathen nations are called dead, so too are the wicked and the sinners of Israel, but only before they are put to the test of sanctifying God's name. Facing such a test, the chachma within them is aroused until it fills the entire soul with its spirit of self-nullification before God. At this point, they are alive once again. However, as long as they do not face this test, the level of chachma is dormant within them, as the Alter Rebbe continues. And remember that our soul makes an entry, makes an appearance every time we sin. If we're on, the Rasha Veralo, the lowest level, doesn't have this remorse. The Rasha Vertovlo has this level of remorse, right? So we want to sensitize ourselves to feeling remorse if we do something wrong, to noticing if we do something wrong. We can never judge ourselves. That's not okay. If we start judging ourselves, then we'll start hiding ourselves, and pretending and justifying, and it gets even more difficult because all of this klipa is now, we're lying to ourselves and we're allowing more and more klipa to cover us the way that we see. But if we're up front and we know we have unconditional love, Hashem is backing us no matter what we say, do, think, or feel. Hashem is always here behind me. He has my back. He's always giving me a loving embrace no matter what I do. And then that gives us the permission to give ourselves unconditional love no matter what we do, think, or feel, or say. And if we have our back and Hashem has our back, then we can go forth and we can open the door and we can say, yes, I have sinned. And yes, what I have done is not in line with kedusha. It's not in line with what Hashem wants from me. And I feel remorse that I have done it. And I can see that I have a pattern, that I have done it before, even though I regretted it, even though I said teshuvah. So, and it's possible that I'll do it again and again and again and again, even though I don't, deep down, I know there is a part of me, even if I don't feel it, who doesn't want this to happen, doesn't want me to be acting in this way. That part of me is my godly soul, which I can't necessarily feel in the forefront because I'm covered with layers of klipa, and my animal soul is strong, and my body is unrefined and unsensitive to the kedusha of the godly soul. So I need Hashem, I need you, I need your help to help me first, help give me the will that I refine myself to you, and give me the help me to carry it out and to prevent myself not do this again. And so in order to do that, we need to build ourselves gvulot. We need to build boundaries that we don't end up low like we were before. So anyway, so we have to remember, we want to sensitize ourselves. We want to identify with this little part of us that makes an appearance sometimes, from time to time, in remorse, in feeling totally uncomfortable where we are. That is our godly soul. It is good to feel uncomfortable with where you are, if where you are is not in a kedusha point of in your life. So for the faculty of Chachma in the divine soul, with the spark of godliness from the light of the blessed Ein Sof that is clothed in it, are in a state of exile in their body, within the animal soul of the realm of Klippa, in the left part of the heart, which reigns over them and dominates their body. So again, this is why we can be so detached from who we really are, and we can think, chas v'shalom, that we really want to do something, which is not kedusha. We can think that we have no holiness or no desire to turn to Hashem at all, chas v'shalom. It's completely false. Because the klipa is now running the show, that the godly soul is, and the Ein Sof is still in the soul. It's still in the body. It's who we are, but it's a state of exile. And the animal soul, in the realm of klipa, is the king of the whole city, of the whole body. So this exile of the faculty of Chachma, and it's at the forefront, right? The animal soul is at the forefront of our consciousness. Whereas our godly soul is hidden behind. So we have to understand this, in order to understand ourselves and to understand our identity, that we identify with the right us, and not the wrong false us. This exile of the faculty of Chachma, while the animal soul dominates the body, echoes the esoteric doctrine of the exile of the Shekhinah, since the Ein Sof abides in Chachma, as mentioned earlier. For this reason, this love found in the divine soul, whose wish and desire is to unite with God, the fountainhead of all life, is called hidden love. This is why it's called hidden love. Isn't that beautiful? This is a constant yearning of our godly soul. It is inherent in its nature that it's constantly yearning for Hashem. Why is it called the hidden love? It's hidden because in the world that we live in the world of Asiya, the lower level of Asiya in the physical realm, where it's the world, as we learned previously in Tanya, it's the world which has the most evil, right? If we remember, there are worlds above us that are existing exactly like with us, at the same time in this moment right now. So the highest level is the closest to Ein Sof. Ein Sof is infinite. There is no limitation, no boundary. So there cannot be a world. It's only Hashem. Hashem brought himself out, concealed himself, contracted, to be able to make space for a new level which has less revelation of Hashem. There is some limitations, but there is no evil, right? That's like beautiful. Hashem contracted himself even more and pulled himself even further up. He was able to create another world, which is even less than this world of Atzilut, is the world of Yetzirah. Yetzirah is a world where there is a little bit of klipa, of unholiness. And Hashem pulled himself even more from this world of to create another world. He pulled himself and contracted even more than when he did before, and he contracted himself into a new world. In this world, from his contraction, he created a new world, from Yetzirah, which is Bria. Bria is like 50-50. The next world he created was Asiya, and the next world. So each world, basically, that's how Hashem created the worlds, and Hashem created each world, klipa, the possibility for evil. And in the higher worlds, there's one where there's a little bit, and the majority is kedusha. The other world, the next world, is half, 50-50, kedusha and klipa. In our world, the lowest world, we have mostly kedusha, no, mostly klipa, mostly this mundane and evil, and a little bit of kedusha. So our work here is to refine the klipa in the way that Hashem has told us to. Some things we stay away from, some things we use and do. So our job here, and Hashem teaches us exactly how to do it, is to bring, elevate the klipa, so we bring more kedusha. We're here to refine the klipa that we can refine, and to bring kedusha. Kedusha is Hashem's dwelling place. So to bring Hashem's dwelling place in this world down below, in the depths of klipa, in the depths of the world of klipa, and that's why the evil can happen, and that's why things really like crazy, chas v'chadila, horrible things we can hear of, because of the nature of this world, that we are so concealed and so far removed from complete revelation of Hashem, that this can happen. We are in the lowest world, and Hashem created the whole universe for this reason, for us in this world, this lowest world of Asiya, to make a dwelling place for him and to do this work of refining. So, for this reason, this love found in the divine soul, whose wish and desire is to unite with God, the fountainhead of all life, is called hidden love. Again, remember, it is hidden because, like the nature of this world, where evil rules, our experience is the same, where klipa rules, right? Klipa of the body, klipa of the animal soul, and the animal soul's character traits. Klipa, where the animal soul desires and it interacts more and more with the world, right? It's not a bad thing necessarily. It can be used for holy, right? But just the fact that it is attaching itself more and more to this world will add more klipot, more food for the animal soul in a klipot way. So, which we've talked about, for example, eating, drinking, speaking, all of those things, which we do, and it's not bad, it's mundane, it's not kedusha in its nature, in itself. And that's why it adds to the klipot. What we do, Hashem told us, I want you here to refine the klipot. Okay, so you use your eating, drinking, sleeping, you use in a kedushitic way. You do what you can to make the mundane into holy. That makes a dwelling place for Hashem, that elevates the klipa to kedusha, and it lessens it refines what's it called? It refines the animal soul. Praying refines the body and the animal soul, right? And that's why we're taught that learning Torah sweetens the Yetzer Hara, but what changes your character, what changes your experience in this world, your character traits, is prayer. We have to do meditative prayer. It's so important. And immediately after that, follow it up with Torah learning in order to claim our soul powers. Because what prayer does with the words, the holy fiery words of prayer, it enters our body, it like purifies our body, our physical body, like the fire of a torch, like a burner that's koshering pots or koshering something, right? The fire. So that's what the fiery words of prayer does to our body. And our meditatively connecting to Hashem in prayer will refine our traits, especially when we're doing this meditation of giving over our doing the sacrifice, a kabbanot sacrifice of giving Hashem whatever part of our animal soul we can't control, we're having struggles with. we give over that sacrifice. So very, very powerful. If we don't do this, this is all done in order to reveal the love that's hidden, to reveal, in other words, the godly soul, and to allow it to express in a revealed state that our identity. But naturally, usually the order of the world, the nature of this world is that it is covered. Our true self is hidden. And we need to try to work on ourselves in all this way so that we refine what's outside and covering it so that we can shine through. It's just like if you have windows and your windows have become really filthy, really dirty over time, and a lot of plaque has built up, then for sure you're not going to be able to see, no one's going to be able to see inside, see who's you behind, let alone seeing outside will also be difficult, so that your true self can't really you see through the glass of stain, through dirty murky glass. So for sure your vision is impaired, for sure you don't have the right mental state, or you don't have the right way of seeing things to be able to judge situations correctly. To be That's my little son. He's knocking on the door. So, Baruch Hashem. So it's so important for us to clean these windows that we can see out clearly, that we can express ourselves, we can express emotion, our true self, that it can be seen by others or outside, and also that we can judge the situation properly. We can see clearly what's outside and do whatever's necessary based on all of that seeing. So all of that, wow, it's so special. So that is the hidden love, and may it not be hidden anymore. May it be revealed. May us all be revealed. And so here, an apparent contradiction in terms, love denotes a manifestation emotion, and it is not at all hidden. It is called hidden only when it is obstructed by an alien entity and not because of any inherent quality of concealment, as Rabbi goes on to say. Amazing. For it is hidden and veiled in the case of the transgressor of Israel in the sackcloth of the klippah. From the klippah there enters into a spirit of folly, which leads them to sin. As our sages remark, a person does not sin unless a spirit of folly enters into him. As the Alter Rebbe explains further, the foolishness consists of the self-delusion that one remains a good Jew in spite of his sins, an insensitivity to the serious breach that his sins create between himself and God. If a Jew felt how each sinful act tore him away from God, he would never sin. For after all, every Jew's love of God is so strong that he is prepared to sacrifice his very life for God, as discussed in the previous chapter. It is only that the spirit of folly dulls his senses so that he does not feel the wrench caused by each sin. However, and again, dulls his senses, like the plaque of the on the windows, the klippah causing lots of dirt to get stuck on the windows. However, if his senses are so dulled, why is it that even the worst sinner will willingly sacrifice his life for God when his faith is put to the test? In answer, the Alter Rebbe explains that the klippah can obstruct only those matters that do not directly affect the godly soul's level of chachma. However, in such matters as faith, a derivative of chachma, klippah can neither penetrate nor obstruct. Consequently, in such matters, the Jew is aware that to succumb to sin would mean being torn away from God, and therefore he will readily lay down his life rather than sin. This also Rabbi now goes on to explain. Yeah, this is why it's so important, again, to focus on our emunah, on our faith, things that are beyond the nature of this world, things that are beyond rhyme or reason. We have to teach ourself, someone who's very like earth, has a lot of earth element, has a lot of intelligence, intellect Hashem has given them for their purpose in this world. They need it to fulfill their purpose in this world. So this person will have to tango with a Yetzer Hara that is very, very smart, knows exactly how to talk to them, will be able to pull them off, convincing them all the way reasons why, and introducing klippah into their life and covering up their windows so that they can't see clearly through. they're obstructed, and their love of Hashem, their soul, is hidden. So so we need to get used to switching off our brains sometimes, and closing our eyes and reaching up to just Hashem. Like the Breslov Rabbi Nachman of Breslov said, it's good and it's so important that we cry out like a little baby, that we close our eyes, look up to the heavens, like face up to the heavens, and say, Hashem, you put me in this situation. I can't see clearly. I don't understand. I'm struggling. I'm doing all these things. I can't control myself. I can't control my soul powers that you've given me. Hashem, please help. And help me see the way you want me to see. You know, it's good to do that. It's good. You don't attack anybody else around you. You don't attack yourself. You just cry out saying, Hashem, I know what you gave me, what you've put me in is only because for my good. But I need you, please give me your way of seeing things. That's emunah. That's emunah, saying, Hashem, I really believe what you're doing is for the good. I know the way I see it is not. So I'm going to switch off my intellect because I don't need to see in this way. I don't need to add more clipboard. I don't need to add more murky dirt to my windows. I want to see clearly. I need to wash these windows. I know I need Hashem's way of seeing it through the clear, clean glass. So this the Alter Rebbe now goes on to explain, but this exile of the faculty of Chachma affects only that aspect of it which is diffused throughout the nefesh and animates it with divine vitality. Being in exile, it is unable to pervade the entire soul and through it, the entire body, with a feeling of self-nullification before God, characteristic of Chachma. Thus, in the state of exile, it is unable to prevent one from sinning. Wow. Wow. Yet the root and core of the Chachma in the divine soul is the brain and does not clothe itself in the sackcloth of the klipa in the left part of the heart in a true state of exile, so that it becomes powerless to prevent one from sinning. It is merely dormant in the case of the wicked, not exercising its influence within them, i.e., not creating within the Jew the spirit of self-nullification before God that it ought to create, as long as their knowledge and understanding are preoccupied with mundane pleasures. Oh, I love this so much. Okay, we are going to have to end our class today. But how spectacular, how amazing is this? Oh my goodness. Thank you, Hashem. And thank you, Alter Rebbe, for compiling this work. So, the part of us is Chachma, that can nullify our klipa. That can say, I see clearly. That can say, you're not seeing clearly. Is dormant, it's sleeping. We just have to do what we can to wake it up and to bring it to the surface. And so so the more that we exercise our chachma, the koachma, this self-nullification before Hashem, for his wisdom, not ours, then the more strength we have. Like when we do it in a time when it's not necessarily difficult for us, when we don't have all the other side pulling us in a certain way, it's much easier for us. We reinforce it in our brain, all these neural connections, neural pathways, so that it becomes easier in a time of distress, in a time of difficulty, to then practice and do exactly and see things the right way. Much easier. So we should, for example, what covers us up is the worldly pleasures, right? When we're not, to make ourselves holy and separate ourselves from the lust for worldly pleasures, in a time when it's not necessarily too difficult, when we have the choice, we can, we can't, should I not? That's when you should say, no, I will not. And the more you exercise this, no, I will not, then the easier it will be for you later to step away from the klipa and not do a worldly pleasure that in the past would be really difficult. Sometimes, because sometimes for a person who has a big animal soul, who has a big especially water element or whatever elements, there's times when it's very hard to not react, times when it's very hard to not go for that uh pleasure, right? And it's like almost impossible, and it's a craving, it's a deep craving. It can add and add and add, lots of obsession can come in, and then it's just like, oh, just do it already, right? So for sure your godly soul's in a state of exile in that time. um so in order to combat that, in order to get yourself out of those states, do the work before. Don't just use all of this information in a time of battle, in a time where you're dealing with an obsession or craving. It's not going to work so well. You have to do it in times when there's not such a craving for it. And doing it more and more in those times where things are okay and things are easy and not pulling you in will help you be stronger to resist that. And you'll be able to see it in a different way if you're learning different Torah. It's really important. And again, always come from a place of unconditional love for yourself and unconditional love, depending on the unconditional love Hashem has for you. So with that, we will end our share, and we will, let me just make sure that okay, let's do a little quick meditation. Get into your body, get into a relaxed state. Feel comfortable in whatever position you're in. Breathe in, imagine beautiful fresh air, nice clean air. Breathing out. To whatever capacity you can move your body, move your ankles, your wrists, move all your joints, how much you're able to, in a gentle way, bringing life throughout. Okay, you might be hearing cracks, the clicks. We've been sitting here quite a while, so very helpful. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, and breathing out. And let's imagine all the beautiful fresh air coming into our brain, going all throughout our extremities, all throughout our body, all through our blood vessels, our veins, our our lymphatic system, our muscles, our organs, just everything, all our skin cells, everything is experiencing this beautiful, rich, fresh air. And with this beautiful, rich, fresh air is the revelation of Hashem. Imagine that. And with your brain, imagine nullifying yourself, like pressing yourself down somehow. Pressing your brain down somehow to nullify yourself for Hashem, to make space within your brain, within your head for Hashem. That you press yourself down, press your brain down so that Hashem can come in. You invite Hashem, open the door. And now with Hashem present, he's going through you. He's going through all your pathways. And feel that. Beautiful. Thank you, Hashem. Okay. And now imagine those windows before your eyes. Imagine the windows to your soul. Imagine you're looking out, everything's beautiful, sparkling. Your animal soul, your God, your body, everything's clear and clean and nullified to Kedusha. Baruch Hashem, you can see clearly. And imagine if any plaque starts to build up, any clipper that you're adding during your interactions in this world, you're wiping it away. Imagine cleaning it off, wiping it away, doing tshuva, getting rid of the clipper, so that you can see clearly. And you can see all of your loved ones are outside the window, and you start interacting with them, smiling, give kindness, show kindness, express your godly soul, the true self, this princess, this prince or princess deep within your heart. Allow it to express, allow your godly soul to express itself and to make a dwelling place for Hashem in these interactions. Wow, can you imagine making a dwelling place for Hashem in all of your interactions, that there's no place for klippah to win? Wow, Todah Hashem. And with a smile on your heart, a smile on your face, and a smile on all of your loved ones outside of your window. Wow. So thank you, Hashem. Hashem, may you help us to engrave this image and these strengths of the Tanya, these tools of the Tanya, to use in our daily life more and more in times when we're not facing dramatic issues, situations, and then when we do, when we have the fight or flight, so that we are able to use these tools, and to make a dwelling place for you, Hashem, in our heart and in all of our interactions and in our life and in our house and in our world and in the world. So thank you, Hashem. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you next week. Stop recording.